Dear Starseed from Gaia, the love story unfolding in your life right now is so sacred, so cosmically orchestrated, that even the high beings who watch over this universe are in awe of what is coming for you. I am Ophelia, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light, and I carry this message directly from the Arcturian Love Council, delivered to you in this precise moment, because your heart is finally ready to receive what has always been written for you. This is not coincidence. This is not algorithm. Your soul called this transmission in, and the Arcturian Love Council answered. The love story approaching your life is not ordinary. It is the kind that rewrites timelines, heals ancestral wounds, and reminds the entire cosmos why sacred love was placed on Gaia in the first place. By the end of this transmission, you will understand exactly how to recognize and align with the divine union that is already moving toward you. But here is the first revelation. The love you have been waiting for is not being withheld from you. It has been being prepared for you. Every moment of separation, every silence from your twin flame, every ache in your chest has been sacred construction, not punishment. You did not find this video by chance. Your heart called this message in. This is not content, it is a transmission. Something in your soul is ready to remember. Comment 1111 if you feel your heart awakening to what is coming. Like this transmission to affirm to the universe, my heart is ready for divine love. Subscribe if you are walking the twin flame path and aligning with sacred union, and share this with someone whose heart you know is ready. This is not just a message. It is a moment of divine intervention. Your soul has been waiting for this guidance. Your heart knows why you are here. And here is what they never prepared you for. Not the channelers, not the teachers, not even the guides who have been walking beside you since before this incarnation began. None of them told you that the moment your divine love story finally arrives, it would not feel like relief. It would feel like recognition so deep it almost breaks you open. Like remembering something you have been pretending to forget for 1,000 years. Like coming home to a place you were not sure still existed, because the mind imagines arrival as a soft landing, as a reward after a long road, as the exhale that finally makes everything quiet. But sacred union is not quiet at first. It is thunder wrapped in tenderness. It is your soul hearing its own true name spoken out loud by another living being, and realizing you have been answering to nicknames your whole life. It is not the easing of intensity. It is the revelation of it. It is the moment the inner veil thins and you realize the longing you carried was not simply loneliness. It was memory. It was the echo of a promise you made before your bones existed, before your current face existed, before the circumstances that shaped your defenses existed. And when that promise comes near, the nervous system does not always interpret it as safe. Sometimes it interprets it as too real. That's why the first sensation can feel like trembling, like tears that come from nowhere, like a sudden urge to run even while every cell leans forward. Recognition is not gentle. Recognition is holy. It strips illusion like wind stripping dead leaves from a tree. It asks you to stand there, bare and honest, and admit, I know you, I have always known you, and I can no longer pretend I do not. Most starseeds who are on the path of sacred union believe the hardest part is the waiting. They endure the loneliness. They sit through the sleepless nights. They learn to breathe through the ache that comes when they see two people in a coffee shop who are clearly in each other's orbit in a way that feels ancient and chosen and impossible to fake. And they tell themselves, one more day, one more season, one more healing cycle. But here is what no one says out loud in those moments. The waiting is not the hardest part. The hardest part is believing you deserve what you are waiting for. Because time is not what breaks you. What breaks you is the quiet suspicion that the universe gives that kind of love to other people, to the ones who are simpler, to the ones who fit in more easily, to the ones who did not spend their life feeling like a lighthouse surrounded by fog, shining anyway, not knowing who would ever see them clearly. You can survive loneliness. You have survived so much worse. But deservingness is a different battleground. Deservingness is where old lifetimes hide. Deservingness is where childhood imprints cling. Deservingness is where you secretly negotiate with the divine, offering your suffering as payment, as if joy must be purchased with pain. And that is the paradox. You can be spiritually advanced, energetically sensitive, even devoted to love as a frequency, and still carry a small hidden ledger in your heart that says, "Not me, not fully, not like that." That is the invisible wound, the one buried so deep beneath the spiritual knowledge and the frequency work and the shadow integration that most souls on this path do not even realize it is there. It is not a wound that looks like pain on the surface. It looks like strength. It looks like independence. It looks like someone who has done so much inner work that they appear complete, self-sufficient, radiant even. But underneath, in the deepest chamber of the heart, there is a voice, and that voice whispers things that no meditation has fully silenced. Things like, what if I am too much for someone to love? What if my path is too unusual, too intense, too layered for another soul to truly match? What if all this expansion I have done has made me harder to reach, not easier? That voice is not the truth, but it has been broadcasting on a frequency that has been quietly shaping what you magnetize into your field. And the most painful part is that the voice often sounds reasonable. It doesn't show up as a dramatic scream. It shows up as discernment. It shows up as I'm being practical. It shows up as I'm protecting my peace. Yet beneath that, it is the old self protecting you from the vulnerability of being seen. Because being seen is the real threshold. You can do healing in private. You can glow in solitude. You can be wise alone. But to be loved at the level your soul craves requires a kind of exposure that makes the ego feel like it is standing without armor. That voice learned long ago that visibility can cost you. In some lifetimes, visibility meant persecution. In other timelines, visibility meant betrayal. In this lifetime, maybe visibility meant being misunderstood, being labeled, being told you were dramatic when you were simply deep, being told you were too sensitive when you were simply honest. So yes, you learned to keep the brightest part of you behind a curtain, and that curtain became so normal you forgot it was there. The frequency of, I must manage myself to be loved is subtle, but it is powerful. It can call in lovers who enjoy the light, but cannot hold the fire. It can call in connections that start strong and then fade when depth is required. It can call in partners who admire you from a distance but never step into true intimacy. Not because you are cursed, because the signal has been mixed. A heart calling out for sacred union while the wound quietly says, but not at full capacity, not with all of me. What you just felt hearing that quiet ache mixed with something that almost feels like embarrassment, that is not weakness. That is your frequency beginning to crack open. That is the first signal of recognition that something in you has been holding love at a careful distance while simultaneously crying out for it. That embarrassment is not shame. It is the soul's honesty brushing up against the persona you have perfected. It is the tender part of you whispering, I'm tired of pretending I don't want what I want. I'm tired of being the strong one who never needs anything. I'm tired of spiritualizing my longing into something abstract so I don't have to feel how human it actually is. And in that moment, something sacred happens. The mask loosens, the heart gets air, the locked places begin to thaw. You may even feel it physically, like pressure easing in the chest, or heat behind the eyes, or a sudden deep breath that seems to come from below the ribs. That is energy moving. That is the body responding to truth. Scripture has always hinted at this, even if the language was different. The truth shall make you free. Not because the truth flatters you, but because it releases you from the exhausting effort of holding yourself apart from your own desire. What was shared today planted the seed, but the full activation requires deeper immersion. If you are done waiting without understanding why, the divine love frequency code reveals what no one else has told you, the exact frequency pattern that makes union inevitable. 5 transmissions, 7 sacred tools, 1 shift that changes everything. The link is waiting in the first comment, but not indefinitely. Now stay with this, because what comes next is where the real transmission begins. For souls who carry starseed consciousness, love is not a simple matter of compatibility. It never has been. Your love story is not written on a dating profile or determined by proximity or timing in the ordinary sense. It is written in a frequency, a specific resonance that exists between you and the soul your higher self agreed to meet in this lifetime under very particular conditions. Those conditions are not about geography or age or any external factor. They are about readiness. Specifically, They are about the readiness of your own heart to hold a love that matches the fullness of who you actually are, not who you have learned to perform in order to feel safe. That performance self is not fake, but it is edited. It's the version of you that learned which emotions were welcome and which were inconvenient. It's the version that learned to translate your cosmic sensitivity into something digestible. It's the version that can talk about energy and purpose and destiny, while quietly fearing that your raw tenderness might be too much for anyone to hold. But your divine love story is not drawn to the edited version. Sacred union is drawn to the unedited soul. The love that is meant for you is not confused by your depth. It is attracted to it. It does not require you to shrink your mysticism into something palatable. It requires you to inhabit it with humility and courage. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Guarding your heart does not mean closing it. It means protecting its truth from compromise. It means refusing the old habit of trading authenticity for attachment. This is the first key, and it is the one that opens the door to everything else. Because without this key, even if your counterpart arrives, you will not be able to receive them fully. You will translate their love through old filters. You will question it. You will brace for it to disappear. And bracing is a form of resistance, even when it's understandable. Before your divine counterpart can physically enter your reality in a way that sticks, in a way that does not simply create another beautiful, painful cycle of connection and retreat, your own heart must have dissolved the belief that love is something you earn through sacrifice or smallness, or careful management of how much of yourself you allow to be seen. This wound is ancient. For many starseeds, it stretches across lifetimes. You came into this incarnation already carrying the memory of love that was too much, love that burned too bright, love that was not safe to fully express in environments where your soul's depth was not understood. And so you learned, quietly and efficiently, to contain yourself, to be loving without being fully loved, to give without fully receiving, to be present in relationship while keeping the most sacred parts of yourself carefully protected, and you became skilled at it. You learned to read rooms the way a sailor reads weather. You learned to sense when someone could hold you, and when they could not. You learned to offer only what the moment could handle. But what began as wisdom became limitation. Because eventually you stop asking, "Can they hold me?" And you start assuming, "No one can." And that assumption becomes the wall, not a dramatic wall, not a hateful wall, a polished wall made of self-control and spiritual maturity and, "I'm fine." Yet inside, the inner child, the inner mystic, the inner lover, is kneeling in a quiet temple, waiting for permission to stand up and be known. The unlock happens not through affirmation or intellectual understanding. It happens when you stop correcting the wound and start witnessing it with the same compassion you would offer to another soul in pain. When you sit with the part of you that learned to make itself smaller and you say, "I see why you did that. I understand what you were protecting, and I am ready now to let you rest." This is not a quick moment. This is an intimate meeting with yourself. It is you taking the frightened protector in your psyche by the hand and saying, "Thank you for keeping me alive, but I no longer need to live as if love is dangerous." It is you laying down the weapons you didn't realize you were holding. And sometimes it is grief. Grief for all the times you would have loved more freely if you believed you could be held. Grief for all the tenderness you swallowed. Grief for the songs you didn't sing out loud. But grief is not regression. Grief is release. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Comforted not always by another person first, but by the spirit within you that finally has room to move. That is when the frequency shifts. That is when the first chamber of the heart opens. And when it opens, you begin to notice changes you cannot attribute to logic. You breathe differently. You stop over-explaining. You feel less apologetic for existing. You become less available for half-love. You start to sense when someone is meeting you, and when they are only visiting. The second key is what the Arcturian Council calls the mirror recognition. And this one surprises people when they truly feel its meaning. Your divine counterpart does not appear in your life to complete you. They appear to reflect back everything you have already completed within yourself. This means that what you see in them, what moves you about them, what feels so impossibly familiar the first time you encounter their energy, is a reflection of your own highest frequency made visible. They are not your missing piece. They are the evidence of your wholeness, becoming conscious of itself. It can feel like looking into a clear lake and seeing the sky reflected perfectly, and suddenly realizing the sky was always above you. Their presence does not create your light, it reveals it. Their devotion does not manufacture your worth. It confirms what your soul has been trying to tell you all along. That is why the encounter can be disorienting. Not because you are unstable, but because you are finally being reflected accurately. Most people have only been mirrored partially. They have been admired for their usefulness, desired for their beauty, appreciated for their empathy, but rarely recognized for their essence. Mirror recognition is essence level. It is the moment someone sees you without trying to edit you. It is the moment you feel known without being investigated. It is the moment your body relaxes because it no longer has to translate itself. This is why you cannot rush this meeting by chasing it. Every time you have gone looking for your sacred counterpart from a place of longing or lack, you have been sending a signal that says, I am not yet whole. I need you to complete me. And what that frequency attracts is not your divine union. It attracts the lesson that comes before the union. It attracts the relationship that teaches you what wholeness feels like from its absence, so that when wholeness finally walks toward you, you can recognize it without mistaking it for something lesser. Some of those lessons come dressed as passion. Some come dressed as fated intensity. Some come dressed as spiritual chemistry that feels like lightning. But lightning is not always a hearth fire. Lightning can illuminate the landscape and still leave you cold afterward. The soul learns through contrast. It learns what sacred is by touching what is not sacred, and feeling the difference in the aftermath. It learns what consistency is by being pulled through inconsistency. It learns what truth is by experiencing the exhaustion of confusion. These are not punishments. They are calibrations. They are the universe teaching your nervous system the texture of the real thing. So when the real thing arrives, you do not sabotage it out of unfamiliarity. The shift happens when you stop seeking completion and start practicing embodiment. When the way you move through your own life, the way you care for yourself, the way you speak about your own journey, begins to carry the energy of someone who already knows their value, not performance, not pretending you are not in pain, but a deep settled knowing that you are enough, that your story is enough, that the love you are asking for is not too much to ask for. Embodiment is when your prayers become posture, when your healing becomes how you speak to yourself in the morning, when your sovereignty shows up as a boundary you actually keep, when you stop rehearsing abandonment and start rehearsing presence. And yes, the mind may still wobble sometimes, but the body learns a new home. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. In the heart, not just the mind, in the deep center. The third key is the one most starseeds resist, without realizing they are resisting it. It is the key of karmic release. And it is not about cutting cords in the way you may have been taught. It is about something quieter and more profound. It is about acknowledging that some of the relationships you have held onto in your heart, the ones you have analyzed and reanalyzed, the ones you have carried as evidence of your inadequacy or your pattern, those relationships were never meant to become your forever. They were agreements made at a soul level to teach you something specific. And the moment that teaching was complete, the agreement was fulfilled. What kept you bound to those experiences beyond their completion was not love. It was an old part of you that believed pain was the proof of depth, that if something hurt badly enough, it must have mattered deeply enough to be worth holding. This is a common starseed distortion, confusing intensity with destiny. Because starseeds often incarnate with high capacity, they can feel everything as significant. They can take one conversation and sense 10 lifetimes behind it. They can look into someone's eyes and feel a whole timeline activate. But not every activation is an invitation to stay. Sometimes an activation is a lantern on the path, not a home. Sometimes it is a doorway you walk through and then keep walking. Karmic release is when you stop worshiping the wound as evidence that you were capable of love. You already know you are capable. You don't need to keep bleeding to prove it. You are allowed to release it, not by pretending it did not matter, not by rewriting the story into something easier, but by honoring it completely, every gift and every wound, and then consciously choosing to no longer carry it as your identity. The karmic field clears when you stop needing the past to explain the present. When you can say, that was real and that is complete, without one of those statements canceling the other. This is where forgiveness becomes powerful, not as moral superiority, but as liberation. Forgiveness is often simply the decision to stop letting an old chapter narrate your future. It is you taking the energy you spent revisiting the same memory and returning it to your own life force. It is you refusing to let yesterday's confusion become tomorrow's template. Forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing. New things require space, and karmic release is how you make room in the soul's house. The fourth key is what most people on the spiritual path call surrender, but it is not surrender in the passive sense. It is not giving up or accepting less. It is a very specific act of trust. It is the recognition that divine timing is not the universe withholding something from you. It is the universe perfecting the conditions under which what you are calling in can actually sustain itself once it arrives. A love that comes before both souls are ready does not become a sacred union. It becomes another beautiful, painful lesson, and you have already graduated from those lessons. What you are being prepared for now requires a version of you that could not have been here 3 years ago, or 5 years ago, or even last year. Think of it like a vessel. A river can carry a small boat easily, but if you are asking for an ocean-crossing ship, the building is different, the bolting is different. The wood has to be seasoned. The hull has to be tested. Surrender is consenting to the construction process. Not because you enjoy delay, but because you finally understand that what arrives must endure. Sacred partnership is not just chemistry. It is covenant. It is not just feeling. It is practice. It is two nervous systems learning safety together. It is two spirits choosing truth when ego would rather perform. Timing is part of mercy. Timing is part of protection. The soul you are in this moment, the one who has moved through what you have moved through, who has chosen healing over numbing and truth over comfort, that is the version of you the sacred union is being calibrated to, and your counterpart is undergoing their own calibration on their side of this field. When both of you have reached the frequency required for the connection to be stable, not just electric, not just intense, but actually sustainable, the timing opens. Not a minute before, not a moment after. And stability does not mean boredom. It means you can breathe. It means you can build. It means the connection can hold real life. Stress, family, finances, exhaustion, the mundane Tuesday afternoons. Because if love can only exist in heightened moments, it is not yet fully anchored. Sacred union is when love lives in the ordinary like a steady flame. Not just as fireworks. Love is patient. Love is kind. Not because patience is a personality trait, but because patience is the fruit of security. The fifth key is the one that changes the energetic broadcast permanently. It is the key of magnetic embodiment. And this is where the teaching gets very practical in an energetic sense. Divine love does not respond to desperation. It responds to resonance. If you want to call in a soul who is whole, who is conscious, who is ready for depth and truth and sacred partnership, you must become the living demonstration of those qualities in your own field right now, not after they arrive. Now. This is not about being perfect. It is about being real. It is about letting your daily life, your choices, your self-care, your creative expression, your boundaries, your joys carry the frequency of someone who believes that love is already theirs, not someone waiting to begin living until love arrives. Someone already alive, already thriving, already whole, with the door of their heart fully open and the light on. Magnetic embodiment looks like this. You stop abandoning yourself in small ways. You stop overriding your intuition to keep someone comfortable. You stop saying yes when your body says no. You stop romanticizing what your soul has already outgrown. You begin to treat your own time like it is sacred because it is. You eat like you're worth nourishment. You rest like you're worth restoration. You create like you're worth expression. You clean your space like you're preparing a sanctuary. Not because you are waiting for someone to arrive, but because you are honoring the love that already lives within you. And this isn't only metaphorical. The field around you responds to congruence. When your words say, "I'm ready," but your choices say, "I'm bracing," the universe listens to the choices. When your affirmations say, "I am worthy," but your boundaries say, "I will accept crumbs," the field hears the boundaries. Magnetic embodiment is the alignment of all levels: mind, body, soul, action. It is you becoming a clear bell that rings the note of sacred partnership without distortion. That signal is unmistakable. It crosses dimensions. It does not require you to be in the right city or the right room or even fully certain of what your counterpart will look like when they arrive. It simply requires you to be vibrating at the frequency of what you are asking to receive. And this is the secret most people miss. The universe does not need your anxiety to make it happen. Anxiety is not a booster rocket. Anxiety is static. The clearest signal is peace, not numbness. Peace. The kind of peace that comes from self-trust. The kind of peace that says, even if I do not know the exact route, I know the destination is real. The sixth key is the one that the Arcturian lineage holds with particular tenderness. It is the wisdom of separation. For those who have already met their divine counterpart, who have already felt that world-altering recognition and then watched it pull apart under the weight of fear or timing or both, this key is essential. Separation is not failure. It is not evidence that you were wrong about the connection. It is the universe creating the specific conditions under which both souls must rise individually so that when the reunion comes, it is not a merging of two halves who need each other. It is the meeting of two wholes who choose each other. Every day of separation is being used. Every ounce of grief is being transformed. Every moment you have turned toward your own healing instead of collapsing under the weight of the distance has been building something in your field that no reunion could have given you another way. Separation is an altar. It is where attachment burns off and truth remains. It is where fantasies dissolve and what is real becomes visible. It is where you learn the difference between longing and love. Longing can be desperate. Love is spacious. Love says, I want you, but I will not abandon myself to hold on. Love says, I miss you, but I will not shrink my life while I wait. Love says, if we are meant, we will meet again as better versions of ourselves. And sometimes the separation is also protection from premature union, from the temptation to build a temple on an unfinished foundation. Some souls meet, and the recognition is true, but the capacity is not ready. The heart is willing, but the nervous system is still trained for war. The desire is pure, but the communication is not yet skilled enough to hold the purity. So the universe, in its strange mercy, creates distance, not to punish, but to mature. To everything there is a season. Seasons are not personal, they are purposeful. The seventh key is the final one, and it is the simplest and the most profound. It is the recognition that reunion, divine union, sacred partnership at the highest frequency, does not begin when the other person walks through the door. It begins when you open the door from the inside. The lock on sacred union has always been an interior one. No amount of manifestation work, or frequency work, or healing work will pull your counterpart into your physical reality in a lasting way until you have done the one thing that requires the most courage of all, which is to decide that you are ready. Not that you are perfect, not that you have healed every wound or answered every question or become certain that you will not be hurt again, but that you are ready, that your heart, in all of its tenderness and all of its scar tissue and all of its enormous capacity for love, is fully open, that you are choosing union not from fear of being alone but from the truest and most sovereign place within you that knows this is what you came here for. This decision is subtle, but it is seismic. It's not a thought, it's a claim. It's you stepping out of the identity of the one who waits and into the identity of the one who receives. And receiving is a skill. Receiving is a surrender of control. Receiving is allowing goodness to land without suspicion. Receiving is letting someone else's devotion touch the places you have managed alone for too long. And yes, it is vulnerable. It will require you to release the comfort of self-sufficiency as a shield, not self-sufficiency as strength, but as armor. It will require you to believe that love can be steady, not just intense. That it can be safe, not just exciting. That it can choose you, not just chase you. Perfect love casts out fear. Not because fear never arises, but because love becomes greater than the fear. Here is the final transmission, the one the council asked to be delivered directly. You are not unlovable. You are not too much. You are not behind. You are not being punished by the silence or the waiting or the years that have passed in which love has not yet arrived in the form your soul has been longing for. You are being prepared, and the preparation has been extraordinary. The courage it has taken for you to remain soft in the face of heartbreak, to remain open in the face of disappointment, to remain faithful to your own frequency when the world around you was offering every reason to close and shut down and settle for something smaller. That courage is the reason the Council is saying, even the high beings will be moved by what is coming next for you. Because softness in a hard world is not naivete. It is mastery. It is spiritual strength refined. Anyone can become cynical. Anyone can decide nothing matters. But you kept believing in something you could not yet touch. You kept choosing integrity when shortcuts were offered. You kept choosing healing when numbness would have been easier. You kept choosing forgiveness when bitterness would have felt justified. And that choice, repeated, carved a channel in your being. It carved a riverbed wide enough for real love to flow through, without flooding you, without washing you away, without making you lose yourself. Not because it will be easy, not because it will arrive without any further growth required, but because it will be real, because it will match the depth of what you have been holding, because it will be the love that your soul agreed to experience in this incarnation, and every step you have taken, including this moment of watching this message, has been moving you toward it, even the steps that felt like detours, even the endings that felt like failures, even the almost love that taught you what you could no longer tolerate. None of it was wasted. In the language of the soul, nothing sincere is wasted. It all becomes compost. It all becomes the soil that grows the next garden. Tonight, before you sleep, place your hand on your heart, not as a ritual, not as a technique, as an act of honest acknowledgement. Feel the beat beneath your palm, and say either silently or aloud, I have carried this with grace. I am ready to receive what I came for. I trust what I cannot yet see, and as you say it, notice what rises. If grief rises, let it. If joy rises, let it. If fear rises, let it be witnessed without obedience. You are not trying to force anything. You are simply telling the truth in the presence of your own body. The heart has its own intelligence. It recognizes sincerity. It recognizes when you mean it. That is not a prayer for something far away. That is an announcement to your own field that the waiting is no longer what this is. That the chapter is turning. That love, the kind written in soul contracts and encoded in the stars and carried across lifetimes, is already in motion. And motion does not always look like immediate appearance. Sometimes it looks like internal rearrangement. Sometimes it looks like the sudden desire to clear out old messages, old photos, old energy. Sometimes it looks like a new confidence that comes from nowhere. Sometimes it looks like you waking up and realizing you are done negotiating your worth. Those are signs. Those are the universe moving pieces you cannot yet see. The way roots move underground before the bloom appears above. Before you scroll, take a moment to be part of what is forming here. Drop one intention in the comments, something real from your heart journey. Then respond to someone else's with encouragement or love. This is not content. It is collective healing. Love multiplies when hearts connect. If something in this message resonated, do not keep it to yourself. Someone in your life is waiting for this exact activation. Share it. And if you felt a soul nudge, subscribe. Stay in the flow of divine love guidance. You are not just watching, you are healing. This is your sacred space, and we are just getting started.